Hi there. Okay, so the last couple videos I've done, it's funny. I try to mix it up. I try to keep it fresh. The last one, I almost didn't release it just because the whole thing just sounded like a bunch of bitching and moaning, and I don't want to do that. I went back and watched it, and there was some good stuff in there, but I don't want to sound like a complainer because I'm not. And even if I do bring up things that I think are wrong, I generally will have solutions in mind, and even if I don't mention them. So I'm going to make this video to be kind of like some solutions. And these can be solutions to just about anything. And you'll see what I mean by that. So people talk a lot about religion. It's a very common topic. And people usually want bias confirmation. They usually want to talk about religion with people that are similar minded to them, to make them feel better about their decisions, right? And often, if not all the time, when people talk to others that have different religious beliefs, they dismiss them and, find ways to create excuses as to why they're wrong, or these other people are wrong and they're right. I mean, it's so much so that I think that's one of the main functions of religion, is to tribalize people and keep them separated from each other. And especially with identity politics these days, it's almost like a whole new kind of religion, I hesitate to call it, I hesitate to equate religion directly with cults, because I believe religion is specifically at least trying to appeal to the spiritual side of humans. And cults can do that too, but I feel like cults are more specific to terrestrial situations. I don't know. The reason I even mention that is because I'm going to do a whole other video about cults. It might be the very next one. We'll see about that. But there's a lot of complaining in that one, so I want to leave that separate. So yeah, just to be clear, the topic of today's video is religion, and specifically my own religious beliefs. So we'll go through that. So we'll get it right out of the way at first. I was raised Catholic. I went to Catholic church with my family up until I was about a teenager. I used to go with my dad when I lived with my dad down in Florida. I enjoyed just the activity of just going with him to do something. I didn't like getting up early in the morning, but I did like going out and eating breakfast afterwards. So, it's a balance. So I'm familiar with the Catholic Church more than any other religion, though I have taken the time to study other religions and, not just other versions of, Christianity. I dated a girl for a couple of years who was a Methodist, and her father was a Methodist minister. And he was one of the few guys I've ever talked to who was, that high up in a religious group that he never tried to push it on me. And I really liked the way that he acted towards other people, and what I could see in that he didn't proselytize. He led by example. Instead of telling people how they were wrong, he chose instead to show them how, I'm not going to say how he was right, but how his religion had influenced his life and how he had taken it to heart and done the good works that Christianity supposedly talks about. The reason I say supposedly is because I see, Christianity, but all major religions used more as a weapon than as a tool. I mean, they can be used as either. So I see religion being used as a weapon more than as a tool a lot. A lot of the wars that have been fought over the last, since there's been civilization, has been over religion. And, these new forms of ideology that can be looked at as a type of religion, that seems to be the new reasons to fight wars, because people finally kind of figured out that religion wasn't as good of a reason. I mean, I'm not saying everywhere, but as religion dies off as a control mechanism, these other ideologies are coming in. So anyway, you can see that I don't consider myself part of any type of religious group. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not religious. I consider myself spiritual, but not part of any organized religion. I feel like as soon as people organize a religion, you open up the possibility for this study of spirituality to be hijacked by men. And when I say men, I mean human, men and women, especially these days. I've heard of many different modern cults that, worship the feminine divine and basically do everything they can to neuter the male energy, and that's their belief system. Good luck with that. I believe that there should always be balance in everything. Male, female energy should be balanced. A lot of what I will complain about on my videos, if you hear me bitching and moaning about, women and what they're up to these days, is because they're so horribly out of balance. Like, religion should be, and spirituality should be, the study of balance. And we are so far out of balance these days. So that's why you'll hear me complaining about it. But like I said, this video is going to be more about solutions. And I think the real solutions, like I said, to everything is just to balance things back out. And the best way to do that is with yourself. Going out in the world and trying to better things by beating people over the head with ideology, it's not going to get you anywhere. And you can see through the last couple of years, so-called social justice warriors, they piss off more people than they satisfy. And usually they're just satisfying themselves and their friends around them. The analogy that they just like to smell their own farts, it's very astute. It describes them to a T. And, when you're sitting around smelling your own farts, you're not making anybody else happy but yourself. And you are becoming cult-like. Anyway, so like I said, I want to try to be more positive here. So what does it mean to be spiritual? Well, being spiritual means trying to keep your own life in balance. Being spiritual means being kind to other people. It means listening to other people. It means listening to the universe, like not just people. That's one thing that I think we're, it's all right. So it's, I believe that all humans, God itself, the concept of God is not some outside force. It's not something that we have to get to. And I think that's one of the main problems with organized religion, is that they act like a go-between between the human being and this celestial higher power. And they act like the only way to get there is through them. I think I've talked in another video about the concept of prayer and how I believe prayer is a powerful tool because it is a centering, balancing mechanism within a person where you essentially use your inner strength to help balance out the rest. Well, not the rest, but something outside yourself. If you're praying for someone else's benefit, you are actually balancing from within to without. But what you're not doing is begging this godlike creature that's outside of you to bequeath you with their help. I mean, and like I said, this is just my own personal belief. You can believe whatever you want. And I do like to talk to people about this. The reason I mentioned my ex-girlfriend's father was because he was so good at talking about these things without saying, and the only religion that's correct is mine. Never. I never heard that from him. I could question anything, and he would give me a logical response based on what he had learned through what he had studied. And I believe that that's the only real way to have religious debate. Anyway, he impressed me with his ability to not be offended simply by me questioning. And he welcomed the questions, and he was prepared for the questions. Often his responses left me unprepared on how to respond back. So it was always challenging to talk to him about religion and spirituality. It really made me have to focus my own inner beliefs. Anyhow, and I think that's important. I think, back to what I was talking about with praying and God being this outside force. I believe we all of us, and not just human beings, though I think what makes us special in the universe is that we are celestial beings having a human experience. Now, are other animals doing that as well? Probably, possibly, in other ways. They might be just like us. I feel like our abilities to adapt and communicate and work together and essentially network our brains, it's unique in the animal kingdom. And I think part of that uniqueness is that we might not even be from this planet. That idea that we were seeded here by some kind of outside force is probably it's an interesting concept, but it seems like it's pretty accurate in some way or another. The idea that we're here to be enslaved, to mine gold, and work for the elite or lizard people or whatever, to me that's a little bit too far. And I think that goes to the ends of just fear mongering and trying to instill some kind of inferiority complex within us. I think that we're all gods, all of us. I think that we all have a godlike energy within us, and we express that when we do things like praying. And not even just praying, just the simple act of kindness to each other and to other living things. This is our expression of our godlike energy. And I think that the world needs a lot more of people to try to get past the fear of whatever it is. Look, life itself is dangerous. Living is the number one cause of death, right? If you're just going to sit around being fearful of getting sick or getting hurt or dying, then you're never going to actually live. The whole reason we're here on this planet, and this is the reason of life, the secret of life is to live, is to experience, not to hide. We are here to be out there doing things and experiencing things and living. And through those experiences, we're supposed to be working together to make things better. And again, this is my belief in the purpose of spirituality, the purpose of the balance that I talk about. So, anyway, that's about all I got for right now. I'm sure I could talk about this topic for hours on end, and I'll probably do other parts as other more specific things come to mind, but I don't feel like just rambling on at the moment. I just wanted to do a nice little positive video here. I think I kept it to about 80 to 90% positivity. And I hope you guys liked it. I love you, and I mean it. Keep yourself in balance. Until next time.